Hey YouTubers, Grimmy Dragon here, and once again, it's review time. And today we are taking a look at a video game. Yes, it's actually starting. And the first game we're going to look at is the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection for the Nintendo Switch. Since Street Fighter is celebrating its 30th anniversary, they decided to release a collection of 12 arcade ROMs on a very special collection. And we're going to take a look at it. Unfortunately, I do not have a box because I got the download version, so no physical copy. But I'll try to put a picture of the box right here. See it? Okay, good. Let's go take a look at the video game. So let's start off with the games that are included. And there are 12 arcade perfect ports included in this set. We get the first Street Fighter, which was a clunky miss, but it's nice to see where the series came from. We have five versions of Street Fighter 2. Each one special in its own right, so I can understand Capcom wanting to give us all of them, but yeah, 5 versions. That's insane. You get 3 versions of Street Fighter 3, which is pretty much all the versions of Street Fighter 3, and that's fine. Again, each version is special in its own right. And then you get Street Fighter Alpha 1, 2, and 3, which is pretty cool. Get the entire Alpha series, at least the basic versions of the entire Alpha series. And yeah, 12 games is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that is huge in itself. And like I said, these are straight arcade ports. They haven't been tweaked, they haven't been modified, as far as I can tell. Maybe the versus modes are a little modified, I don't know for certain, but yeah, it seems like they're just straight up ports, which is pretty cool. But I will note that it's not as complete as I would want it. Basically, they do not have Hyper Street Fighter 2, which was pretty much the one where you could select which version of which character you wanted to fight, which version of which character, which was pretty cool. And they don't have Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold, which had Cammy in it. Cammy being my favorite character in the Street Fighter series. And they don't have Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, which just gave you direct access to all the hidden characters. I guess that's a minor quibble. I mean, 12 games is still awesome. I mean, 15 would be better, but let's face it, you really can't sneeze at 12 games. So, yeah, what's included is pretty nice. I would be up for those special versions to be available as DLC or through an update with maybe even a code required to unlock them. But yeah, 12 games is awesome, and I'm very satisfied with that. Now, given that these are straight ports, the real question is, how well does the Switch emulate them? And the answer is very well. I'm quite impressed with how well these turned out. The look, the sound, everything works just right. Sega, take notes. So yes, this is pretty awesome. Every game has the sound, has the appearance. There's no artifacting, no glitching. It works perfectly. And you even have CRT filters if you want to use them. So you could use like a standard TV screen filter or the arcade screen filter if you want. I like that. I'm definitely like having those options, and honestly, I have that arcade filter on all the time. You also have the option for borders. You can set this to original size, full size, or widescreen stretched out if you want to for some reason. I don't know why, but you can do what if you want to. Good thing to note, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact actually does have full widescreen support. So you can set that as an option if you want. I just wish they did that for Third Strike. That would have been a lot better. Okay, but yeah. We got really good picture quality and sound quality. The emulation is great. Sadly, however, the controls are a little bit less than I'd like them to. And this isn't even the game's fault, it's just that the Switch controller is not really best suited for fighting games. At least the two Joy-Cons. The individual Joy-Cons are fine. It feels okay. I just don't like using those thumbsticks to move my characters around. If I gotta use a stick, I'd like to use a full-on arcade stick. And that's another thing. I'm not really great with controllers anymore as far as fighting games go. This is a personal thing, but I've grown kind of used to the arcade sticks. But that said, it's still decent. The controls are tight and responsive, which is wonderful. If you can get used to that controller, you will have no problem playing this game. Now, there is one part that does confound me to no end, is how they set the menu to the start button or the plus button, and then the actual start button for the games is the select or minus button, which is confusing to me. I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally hit the menu button when I was trying to hit start. It's a little weird. But yeah, control is solid if you can get used to the controller. I think I'm going to be hunting down some adapters for my arcade sticks. So let's talk play modes here. Now, naturally, the Street Fighter collection has quite a few, including arcade mode, which has you fighting against the computer, standard stuff, versus mode against another player, again, very much standard, and yeah, that's pretty cool. There are also online modes, one of them being your basic online, which has you playing one of 4 games: Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha 3, and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which is standard. I guess that would be what I would expect. I wish all the games were available for online, just so everybody could have their little preference. But these are the ones that you would go for if you were going to have the online tournaments anyway. Or just online play. But speaking of tournaments, the Switch is nice enough to have an exclusive tournament mode, which will allow you to hook up 4 Switches, 2 players each, for a nice big tournament, 8-person, really cool. And yeah, Switch also has local play, so you can actually use 2 Switches to play against another human opponent, which is also very nice. Nintendo gets a lot of cool stuff out of this bundle. And, I'm glad that I got the version that has the exclusive stuff that the other versions didn't get. This also kind of helps mitigate the fact that the other, at least the PlayStation version got Street Fighter 4 as a downloadable if they got it like day one or pre-order or something like that. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with the local play availability. The museum mode is also a really nice treat. You get a history of the Street Fighter series, starting with the first game all the way to this particular game, which is amazing. You get talk about every game that came out, all the spin-offs, all the variants, including Alpha 2 Gold, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, Hyper Street Fighter 2, the 3 games that I wanted on this thing, even though that's a bit of a personal gripe, not a big deal. I'm being greedy. But yeah, you get plenty of history and that is awesome in itself. You also get making ofs for various Street Fighter games, including Street Fighter 2 and 3 and Alpha. That's pretty sweet. Full-on character bios with frame-by-frame animations of their special moves. Like, you can actually look at the frames individually. That is sweet. And then you got access to the entire music library for all the games. How can you beat that? That is a really nice batch of content that's added on to the games. That's awesome. I'm very pleased with that. With the solid gameplay of the Street Fighter franchise at its core, well, except for Street Fighter 1, which is very clunky and should be only looked at out of curiosity, this is a very good collection and is a must-have for arcade enthusiasts and Street Fighter fans alike. You have 12 awesome arcade ports of the Street Fighter series from start all the way up to 3. And can't get better than that. Yeah, 4 and 5 would have been nice, but how are you going to stuff those two in this collection when each one of them probably matches up the same size as this whole set? If not bigger. But still, it is an awesome collection. I'm a little sad still about Hyper, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold, and Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper not being included, but hey, I'm being petty here. This is an awesome set, and yeah, if you like Street Fighter, you'll love it. And I'm not going to say it's going to put Ultra Street Fighter 2 out of circulation, but it is hard to try to spend money on one game when you can spend the same money on 12. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys next time. So until then, goodbye out there, whatever you are.